Spring's coming, right? Kind of like on Game of Thrones, winter's coming, spring's coming. Just a few more weeks. I don't care what Punxsutawney Phil says. I think spring's almost here. But today, a little chill in the fingers, but we're going to get out here and I'm going to flip the script and I'm going to explain what we got going on. Okay, I'm going to put you guys on the chest harness. You guys know I talk with my hands, so hold on a second. Let me get you guys switched over here. All right. Can you see what we got going on? Today, it's not really a battle. I'm testing some of the things I've made and created. So I just wanted to show this off a little bit, not really show it off, but show you that I changed. It's the same handle that I had on the Edo, but I did take it, I ground it down, narrowed it down. This is actually an Abu Garcia handle. But since it already had the holes cut out, and it kind of matches, you know what I mean, as far as, it just goes together, it looks nice. I'm just trying this out, I don't know if I like it or not. I thought I had a little darker color since I had to put the side plate on that instead of the clear one because it was jacked. And so I wanted to show you that, but I want to show you how free this was. I talked about it freeing up the Corrado, right? And this one has always had a bound up deal. So while I took the time to go ahead and free up the Corrado, I went ahead and got this guy freed up too. So I would call him probably about where the Corrado is now. They're free, but they're not as free as some of the real freed up, well, not even this guy, like this guy. You're not going to get that free, no resistance. Smooth reel, this is the 5/8 to 1 gear ratio. Still has the gears, the gear it comes with. If you don't know about the Edo AI, it actually comes with a red gear. So stock gear, which looks to be in good shape. Oh, I did change, and I know Jay had said that I should leave it. He thought it looked better, but and all I did was basically pliers with tape on them so I wouldn't scar anything up. I just bent in the drag star, the stock one. So I think now it looks better. I'm trying to talk myself into getting this nice enough. Hopefully that I'll spend the 50 some dollars or figure out what spool I want to put in this. And you guys comment, you guys have done it before, but what's the best spool to put in these alphas? That you can get one for like 50 bucks off AliExpress, but I don't think it's anything fancy. It'll be better than this spool, but I've heard somebody talk about the Aurora. I don't know. You guys comment or let me know where to find. I would actually like to get spacers and put a little spool in this reel just to try. But if nothing else, I don't know if I can talk myself into it, or I may just try to sell it and get something else. So I've got the Zephyr out here. It was in the shootout. And if you remember during that shootout, I was talking about this rod. And when we went out fishing, and I talked about putting the tip back on the Toma. So here's the Toma with the lingle, the gringle on it. And so I took the tip back off and put back on the lingle. So the lingle is stock with the light tip. You guys have seen it in action before. Well, stock other than I changed out that handle. So here's the one that's a $15 rod, and I wanted to bring you down here and I'll show you. But this isn't the tip. Here's the tip out of the that came with it. See that tip? And here's the tip that I made. So I was just going to show you the overall length is still about the same. So they go together there. And so you can make out that I've got definitely the eyes are spread way out. I haven't changed any of that. All I did was, this is a 6'6" tip off the other rod. See how it's just a hair shorter than the original one that's an ultralight. Now this is supposed to be an ultralight. Okay, that is for sure. See that bend? Now this one, see that bend? I cut just enough off of the 6'6" tip. But now I've got what I ended up with. I have an in between, and I'll try to show you with the Toma. Because the Toma has a light tip, which is real light. Like some of your especially your JDM light would not be considered about the same. So I'm trying to get these about the same place and get you down here where you can see them. So here is the one I made, basically. And here's the Toma. What's funny is, if you guys can get what I'm saying, this whole rod on the thing I made is like a softer backboned rod, but it gets stiffer quicker than the Toma with the light tip, if that makes sense. But we're just going to give you a quick rundown there. Lengthwise, I'll try to show you, see where they are down there. So we've got where the triggers are. The Toma rod is still about an inch longer than this rod, which this rod never was 6 foot. It was supposed to be 6 foot, and it never was quite as long as what 6 foot was. And the Toma is right at about 6 foot. So we're just going to kind of compare them now. It's not a apples to apples. It's more like a Gringo to Corrado, but green to green. And this is the worst thing I've ever done. I pinched these stupid trebles in to think it would help. If anything, it only made it worse. This thing will go right over on these solid tips because they're so skinny. It'll fall up here and then slide down, and it takes forever to get it off. But anyway, we got a good day, hardly no wind. I'm gonna spin this thing around, double check my settings. If you guys remember, we want to have, that's where the 6 foot light. Okay, we're out in the street. Oh, I let it hit the ground before I stopped it. We're out in the street, but we only got about 55 feet. And yes, these light rods are not intended for this bait, but this is the easiest one to like use. Oh, I wanted to show you guys also real quick. Let's get to where you guys can see that. I don't know if you guys can make out just how short that handle is. You guys see that? Make out how short that is. You will probably not see anybody else using a bait casting reel handle that short. I threw down. But look how fast I can reel. Whoa, it's already back. Who says a handle doesn't affect gear ratio? Oh boy. Who says that you need to pay attention when you're casting? We have no wind, and I could have swore I got this thing to go 60 feet earlier. I know I did because I was proud of myself I did it. So hang on, let's do it. Let's do it. Trying too hard. So no, it is not doing it this go around. Now I've been out here casting a few different things, but what I found out in this 6 foot, it's a little bit taller, just by about an inch longer. But if anything, it's whippier, and it's not that the lingle, I guess I should switch them just to make sure and verify. It's not that the lingle sucks in casting, but let me tell you something. I'm finding something out, and I've talked about it before. The minute you have a heavier spool, I guess I should have showed you the other one, if you guys can make out that bend, but I want to show you this. So watch this cast. Right out in the street, look at that, no backlash. And I think part of it is, I mean, the Corrado is a good casting reel, but this rod, I think sometimes the less size, in all honesty, with lighter baits, the better off you are. So we're just shy, we're almost 60 foot, it's right there, here's 60 foot. So we're about a foot shy. And this rod is not quite 6 foot long. And it's actually I mean, you could fish with this, but you would honestly, a bait that small, you're almost, I don't know, my purpose of like having fun fishing with lightweight stuff, like on the little creeks and streams where I'll use this bait. So taking this rod there, probably not what I planned on doing, but I'm kind of finding that these baits, when you're dealing with lighter baits and heavier spools, that I think you can actually, the ease of casting and how much distance you can get. Yeah, that one is right at about 60 foot. Is actually better off with the little stouter rod. Because I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought you guys, are kind of the same way. Like you start looking and you're checking tips and what they recommend, and all the ones that are telling you they're ultralights, they've got a tip like this, that bends way over, and you're like, oh yeah, but like you get out here and you start whipping that around, and you end up tightening your brakes up so much because it does get that little bait started. But I don't know, it's hard to explain. So let me just say that this rod, I was gonna, and I still may at some point, but I do like it, but I'm just gonna leave the eyes like that. There's, because I changed out the tip. So you got 1, 2, well, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's only got 6 eyes, and it's still like a work in progress kind of thing. But I think I'm just gonna leave it there, and what I'd like to do is eventually even if I just leave it 6 guides, but go smaller. But I mean, it works like it is, right? So if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. So I wanted to show you what I did here real quick with this rod. This is the 6-foot 632 Cayenne Teton. I know it doesn't look like it. I've changed it around. You can't order it like this because it comes with a different reel seat, different handle, and all that kind of stuff. Everything's totally different. But what I've also went ahead and done on this rod is I brought it back to the, and here, let me string one up on it. Let's, hang on a second. Let's just see. Anyway, I basically shortened it like I did the other tip that we were just casting. And I think I was out here casting it a little bit. I tried to cast a little bit yesterday. Oh my God, it was so cold yesterday. No, it was game over. So let's take the lingle off. I'm gonna do 2 things. I'm gonna put the lingle or the gringle. So let me set him here because I want to do a little test thing. And then I'm gonna put this, bear with me. Oh, let's take a break from that. I'm gonna cast this since it's all ready. If you guys remember right, I put that chameleon spool in, and then I went fishing with this, and then the casting, the horrible sound. I want you to listen. It's not totally quiet, but way better with the stock bearings. I don't know if you guys heard that. And that was with a 2-gram bait, and it's out there about at the street, or about in the midway 60 feet, which it should be with that real lightweight spool. But let me show you one more time. Hopefully you can hear, or not hear, kind of hear how much it got quieter. It's still loud, whatever, the bearings that the Shimano comes with. One thing about this, the chameleon spools, any of these real light, thin aluminum, it's almost like they work like a speaker. It's like they intensify any sound coming from the bearings. Because I did put, just spinning the bearing that comes with the chameleon spool, I put it on the stock Shimano spool. And I spin it as fast as I can, just by hand. And it's not that loud. And I was like, what? And I stuck it back on this, and you spin it real fast, and it's way louder. And I think it's that thin aluminum actually creates I don't know, just like intensifies the sound you get. So anyway, way better though with the stock bearings. Way better. It's a little loud, but it's probably livable. I like the way that this Corrado is quiet. It's probably because it is a heavier spool. I like the way that which my Dark Knight, or Dark Wolf Ultra isn't real loud, but I actually like the way it came originally with the stock bearings. I may put them back in it because it was a pretty quiet reel and cast very well. Okay, so I'm gonna put this, and we're just gonna see how well the Corrado casts on the Teton. But before we do that, it's kind of going to be a shootout between my lingle and the Corrado, because the Corrado, I was kind of amazed at how well this rod, being a touch stiffer, still actually casts that 1.67 grams, whatever it is, bait. So we're going to put, uh-oh, what happened there? Putting the gringle on this rod. Now I still haven't 100% decided which reel I want on this rod. I do know that I'm keeping the rod like it is, you know, lengthwise, this tip. I can always go back and use the other tip if I want to fish ultralight, but I'm going to use this rod for sure, other than maybe redoing the eyes myself. I thought about, I can't justify spending the money that somebody would want to, whoa, hang on, to basically pay somebody to put eyes on it. I don't even remember which one I had. Okay, this one. So we had this one. I mean, I don't know what they'd want. I only gave 15 for this rod. I gave like 20 for the other rod I used the tip on. So even at 35 bucks, I'm sure I couldn't pay $35 to have somebody put eyes on it. They'd probably want it 40 to 60, who knows what, even though I have the eyes also. So unless I want to do it myself, and I don't have the dryer, like the roller thing, to set and let it dry is my main issue. Well, I haven't even started, but I don't know. Who knows? All right. Let's see if the Gringle can cast as well or better than the Corrado. Now it should. What it weighs and all that, it should. It's an imitation braking, but it's got the same braking and a lighter spool. Probably don't need that much line off. And I cast down, I think. I think that was me. Oh, and I've got the, well, I still don't know if there's actually truly as good of bearings that come with the Corrado, but I've got the good bearings, the Roro bearings in this one. Okay, yeah, right out there. So it really, though, isn't any better than the Corrado with this bait, I don't think. It definitely, this rod, for whatever reason, this rod casts this 1.7 gram bait better than the Toma rod or the Toma tip, basically. Okay, yeah, so once I got the hang of it on this rod, it seems to be just like the Corrado. I can get out there every cast. Now let me see if I can turn it down, because the Corrado I couldn't turn down. I'm right where I need to be with the Corrado. This one, let's see, where are we at? We're just past 3. Let me turn it. There's 3. Let's just try it. Hang on. Almost had like a backlash thing in there. I don't know what that was. So I went down 1 click. Okay, hang on. Because I think I'm right at 3 with the Corrado, roughly also. Okay, yeah, this, no backlash at that one setting, 1 click down. I think it actually is easier to get it right out there where the, whoa, and then that happened. I don't know what happened. Well, I thought it was. Maybe we can't go that 1 click. Hang on, you guys know I got to get this backlash out. Because you guys know, and somebody's going to be like, yeah, I know, that's why you use braid. Yes. 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 Yes, yes, yes. That's why I use braid. As you can tell, I do backlash. Thankfully, I backlash here doing this kind of stuff way more than I do at okay, so that is probably over limited. So I'm gonna go back. So it likes it to be 1 click past 3. we have hardly no wind, and it's like you got to be extra careful, and you know I don't like being extra careful. So, okay, for whatever reason, this rod works very well, but they seem to be, the lingual and the Corrado seem to be very well matched for, with that 1.7 grams on that rod with the, but we do have, that's 10-pound line. I would guess that the line size wouldn't matter if you went down to, 4, 6, 8. The Corrado and the lingual would be roughly the same. So just to see what this thing, we see that we can get 60 feet with that rod with either reel. So now we're just going to try out this new to me, since I took about however many inches off the, and I'll try to show you the action once I get it lined up. This is basically me out playing around while I still got a little time. I get off work usually early enough, well, even definitely in the summertime, but even like in the spring and whatever, that I can hang on. Oh my goodness. I knew I should have cut, there's a little bit of a knot on there. Okay, so let's see. I'll use this bait. Now what I may do, just to reassert what I think is the deal with the Casking Zephyr, we may put it on there and try it. And my fingers, when they get cold and the feeling, it's hard. It just makes it harder to do this stuff. Not that it's hard, but it just makes it like to filling that line. All right, let's go. So I should be able to leave the same setting. And let me show you guys if you can make out. Now that got a little bit, quite a bit stiffer on that tip, which should actually suck, or my thoughts would be it should suck for actually casting this, but I'm going to use this rod for, I wanted like a in-between, and the main thing I'm going for, I want like an in-between ultralight and a light rod, and that's what I was trying to go with, and I found in that other rod, but I still don't know for sure if I've gotten this one or not yet. Whoa. Nope. I don't think the same thing transferred over to this rod. But I may need to go. This rod. Oh my goodness. Hang on. Hang on, we got a backlash that it's over. I hate them when they're over on the side. And you almost, they make them, and you guys see them, they make like a pick thing you can have on you. And sometimes it pays to actually have that when you've got a backlash, kind of like what I'm working with here. Trying to see what. One of these is out of whack. And my cold nasty fingers, can't figure out which one. But we got it. See that? Sometimes it pays just to put your thumb on it and turn it the other way. It just loosens it up. It's hard to explain how that works, but it just does it. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. Let me get another cast. Hopefully it doesn't backlash. Maybe I don't need to throw so hard. Okay, so this rod does not cast this bait with, if you've seen, I just took the Corrado off, switched it right out to this one. Definitely, it just doesn't, the action, I probably killed it when I shortened it like that because it's not a solid tip, which is fine. It just sucks for this, but hang on, and we'll see what it does. It just means that it doesn't load the tip like a, I guess what it kind of illustrates also is that sometimes these solid tips are just more of like a all around. So let me do that one more time. I think what I kind of ended up with here is a little bit stiffer, like a crankbait rod, which is perfect for like this kind of bait. I just want to throw it real quick. I've never been a fan about how long the 632 was. I should have, and I mean, I recommend it, but I actually recommend, like if I bought another one to replace this, I would get the 6-foot ultralight, not the 6-foot or the 632. I would get the, I think it's just 602 UL. But honestly, I wouldn't get either because I would just get another 662 because it can also do almost what this rod does anyway. It's just a little bit stouter kind of deal. Okay, I think I'm done with that. Hang on a second. Yeah, Jay. Hello, Jay. He's saying that you can get like 5 foot further with the 6-pound braid over 10, like with the 1.7 gram, but it's like when you do backlash, it's harder to get a 6-pound braid. Like it's just harder to work with than 10-pound. So I am going to put, there's a couple reels I am putting 6-pound on just because if you remember right, the chameleon spool for the Zillion is so crazy shallow. I'm going to put 6-pound braid on it. Probably, possibly the Dark Wolf Ultra and maybe a Black Knight too, but for sure the Dark Wolf Ultra and the chameleon spool for the Zillion are getting 6-pound. The rest of them are probably going to stay at 10-pound. I mean, it's a possibility. You may see me just try it, put 120 feet of 6-pound just on a Conquest, but I think it's fine with this right here. So I think I'm done. I think that's all I need to do. I got my testing done. My hands are getting cold, so I'm going to call it. This is not, I don't like the way that rod works that well. I may still use it and all around. I don't need it, but I definitely like this, the way this feels throwing little, and I threw even up to these 6-gram baits. I like that basically the Toma light tips I like, and that one was actually ultralight, and I took however far that much off the tip, and it just now it's like I don't know, I guess you could call it a light, a heavy ultralight, whatever. It just feels real good, and I've always liked the way the Toma feels with the light tip. So it'll probably be the lingle on it. There's a slight possibility. I'm not saying 100%. See, not this rod, but these 3 reels right here, there might be a battle between which one ends up on what. And it's a possibility, slim one, that depends on if I can get a good enough spool for this, that this is going to end up either here or it could even end up in here. This could end up on either or whatever, but not here. And then this one's either here, or it's a possibility it's going to be here. And I'll explain myself real quick. Because I can also fish this with that ultralight tip I just showed you, and it is actually fairly whippy enough. I don't know. There's a long story. Anyway, still not up 100% sure what's what, but I think I'm going to leave this alone. This is going to go here, and the gringle here. So far. But don't be surprised if you see one or the other all switched around. That Teton rod, it's back to the drawing board with it. It's one I broke anyway. It's kind of like just, I just been messing with it. And everything I do to it, I don't like it any better than I did before. Which, they're awesome rods that work good, but for what I need to use one for, it's not fitting in there. So anyway, also comment what you guys think of this. What do you guys think? Should I keep it? Sell it? Get another zillion? Get another, oh, I did see there, it's, I found it may be gone by now, but today when I looked, there was a Scorpion BFS on eBay, but it's not the XG, just a regular like 6.3 to 1 or whatever it is. But it looked pretty clean. It was only 179 bucks. So I thought about buying it right-handed, of course, but I don't need any more reels. But I just glanced, I was like, oh, that is a good deal, because they're going for like 210, I think is the next cheapest XG I found, 205 or 210, but there's a few scratches you can make out. So if you can make out a couple scratches in pictures, a lot of times you can make it, there's probably a few more. Not that that's a, total killer, but I'm figuring if I'm spending over $200 for a reel, I don't want any scratches. Now, 150 for one with some scratches, probably. Jay says I should still keep the Ito. Yeah, it is still one of, if not maybe the best looking reel, especially from a little bit of a distance when you first polish. Like I didn't re-polish this, but I wiped it back up a little bit and I polished that handle. I didn't polish that. I don't know if that's got a clear coat or not, so I didn't even try. But it does look very, very good. I'm still working on a knob that I like for it. I like the handle. And I like the star just slightly bent in. And I'm not going to worry about trying to put a drag clicker, none of that. I like that star, that part of the stock look to it. But I definitely need to work on, I may just put one of these big knobs on it. I don't know, I haven't decided for sure yet. Because I can get the big knobs. If you get the gold ones, they do come off, and I can slide that right on Abu Garcia handle blank, whatever you call it, without anything on it. I could get a red spool. I could actually, I wanted a gold spool, but as far as I know, I can't find one that, a gold spool. I don't know, maybe a red spool. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I got to go get warmed up. My fingers are frozen already. I'm in the shade. I want to say it's supposed to get, I think I was supposed to have gotten up to 50 today, but it feels like 40 or less out here right now. Stay tuned though, we got a lot more coming. I'm liking the way this thing casts. This surprised me with as heavy as that spool, especially mine. Even the 8.87 or whatever, almost 9 grams. Mine is 9.1 grams. And I'm still surprised at how well it'll cast that little bait. Now I haven't tried no trout magnet with it, but it surprised me. It's a very good casting reel. What's funny is the lingle, this isn't even the spool. The heavier spool, I should put it back in there. The original lingle spool surprised me how well it cast too, and I maybe should put them head to head. The stock lingle spools, one that's half a gram heavier than the other, just to see. It's a possibility when it comes to this kind of weight that the heavier spool may cast a touch better. All right, I'm out. Thanks for watching.